Hey everyone, Todd Edwards here from composingmadesimple.com and toddkedwards.com. Going to talk about 5 tips to generate a musical idea. So, if you're interested in this, let's get on into the video. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to talk about 5 ways to help you generate an idea. I know me personally, sometimes I struggle with just getting started, and that's the hardest thing to do while composing or writing a song is generating an idea. So, I'm going to give you 5 tips to hopefully cure this problem or help with some writer's block. I know I've touched upon writer's block in the past. Check on the video, but today, hopefully, these things will help you generate new ideas. So, number one is use a loop. So, if you use Logic or any sequencer, or if you have sample libraries that have loops in them, grab a loop that kind of speaks to you, pop it in your DAW, and start to build from there. Now, I want to warn you here when you're using loops, make sure you make it your own. Don't just use loops or, a lot of libraries that we have and a lot of things you can just hold one button and it will evolve and do these things. That's great. You can make that for an underpad or, just for something to build off of, but make sure you're building off the loop. Make sure at the end of the day when you listen to the song, you don't even know that the loop that you've used is even there. What you could do is like if you're going over, you're doing a track breakdown, you could say, well, this is where my generated my idea from this loop, and people when you play the loop, you're like, I never even heard that and even know. So that's the way to use loops, or that's the way I try to use loops. And the way you should use them. All right, so let's go on to tip number 2. Pick a chord progression. Now, what I like to do sometimes is I'll just like try to find chord progressions or popular chord progressions, and I'll try to write a song with it. So let's say 1 6 4 5 or something like that. Just pick something simple. I know we always know the 1 4 5, but put restrictions on a chord progression. Say, no, I'm only going to use these 3 or 4 or 5 chords in this progression, and make it your own. And then try to find a rhythm for it. A chord progression is a chord progression, but just pick one that you don't use all the time. Try to find one that you've never used before, because that's what I do, and it tends to spark new ideas. Like, because like the way it sounds, the way the movement is. So that's number 2. Is just pick a chord progression and try to write something with it. All right, on to tip number 3. Is this was really my favorite, and I've been doing a lot, to spark ideas, is listen to a song from your favorite band or a composition or something and draw inspiration from it. So study it first, maybe see what chord progression they're using and try to adapt it to you. It's kind of similar to number 2 that I was saying, the chord progression, but pick a song and try to emulate that song, but make it your own. So I'll just give you an example here. From songs I'm doing, I'm going back and actually listening to some older type songs, from older bands that I listened to, in high school and stuff, or new bands and people I've never even heard of before. So let's just take like for an example, I was listening to like a Tom Petty song. Most Tom Petty songs are pretty simple, basic. They usually the 1 4 5 1 6 4, like the very pop rock kind of progressions. Well, what I was like, well, let me try to do that. So I would take like an acoustic guitar and start simple. Like there's the key, start simple and build from there. But that was one thing that I did, was just take a song from my favorite band and go, "Ooh, I like that chord progression. I like what they're doing and the instrumentation. Let me try to do that, but let me try to do it with my sound or the way I would do it." That's tip number 3, is pick something, study it, kind of deconstruct it, see what they're doing, and maybe try to use the same chord progression, but put your own rhythm on it, and that will change it completely. All right, so let's move on to tip number 4. I kind of touched on this in the last one, but is start simple. I cannot stress this enough. I'm one of those people that I will overcomplicate. Like really out the bat, I'll just make something so complex because I think it needs to be, and that's just the way my mind works. So I really have to train myself and really have to learn. Oh, God, start simple. And then build from there. And you'll be surprised if you have a simple, because think about this. If you start off so complex, where are you going to go? You have nowhere to go if you're already at 10. So start at 1, start at 3, and build to 10. That's, dynamics and that's stuff like that. And I'm just going to go on a side thing here. That's how you build epic. If people always talk about epic and I want powerful, well, what you do is contrast pieces. Start small, simple, and build, build dynamics. So start soft and then build it to the epic. But anyway, that's off course. But like I said, start simple and build from there. You'll be so surprised. And typically, here's another thing is, the first thing that you write is probably like the chorus or probably the hook of the composition that you're writing. So just think about that in the terms that the first thing you probably write is going to be the hook or the chorus or anything like that. Then build another section before that, and you'll be surprised how fast the song will start to take shape. Like I said, start simple and build from there. All right, my last one, tip number 5, is use a different instrument than your main one. So like I play guitar. Well, I'll start on a piano. I'm not a piano player, but I know basic stuff, basic chords, and I'll just fiddle around with there and you'll be surprised at like if you write something on a different instrument because you're not using the things that you always tend to gravitate to. Your always favorite chord progressions, your always favorite things, your scales and all this stuff. Because if we get so used to writing on one instrument all the time, you just fall into that stuff all the time. So it's always good to mix it up into a new instrument, and that will spark a new idea. Like I have a mandolin and a piano or maybe a drum, a real drum. Like me, I'm a very physical person. I just, that's just the way I learned how to play music. And like I said, I'm a guitar player. So it's very tactile, very hands on approach. And, I come from the rock world, which was being in a band and we would construct things, like that. So it really helps me, but it might not help you. But I know, like, if you're just sitting here on a MIDI keyboard all the time, it cannot be very inspiring. So just pick up an instrument that you might not. So also, look into maybe buying some cheaper instruments, to add your collection, so you can always record them and put into your pieces. You'll be surprised how much it will make your track sound more alive and more real. So anyway, I hope those 5 tips helped. Please let me know in the comments what you think, and if you have any tips that help you or things that spark ideas for you, I'd love to hear them down in the comments. And as always, thank you for watching this video. Please sure to go check out the Composing Made Simple podcast. Check out the Discord channel, which all that stuff will be down below. And as always, thank you for watching. Thanks for the support, and I'll see you on the next one. Take care.